The drama surrounding Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark has hit a boiling point, and at the center of it all is none other than Stephen A. Smith. The man who's built an entire career out of fiery takes and unapologetic truth-telling has once again stolen the spotlight. But this time, his outrage feels different. It's not just another segment for ESPN ratings. It's a full-blown takedown of the WNBA's incompetence, its mishandling of its brightest star, and the jealousy that has turned the league's locker rooms into minefields of resentment. And if you thought Angel Reese could hide behind excuses, theatrics, or conveniently timed injuries, think again. Because Stephen A. didn't just criticize her, he humiliated her. This story is about more than just basketball. It's about power, perception, and the uncomfortable reality that one player, Caitlin Clark, has done more for women's basketball in one season than the league itself has managed in decades. But instead of protecting that gift, the WNBA fumbled it. Instead of celebrating her rise, some players resented it. And now, with Clark sidelined due to injury, the consequences are clearer than ever. Let's not sugarcoat it. Caitlin Clark was the lifeline, the star attraction, the reason casual fans cared enough to tune in. Before Clark, WNBA ratings were an afterthought. After Clark, suddenly games were drawing millions, arenas were selling out, and sponsors were lining up. She was the rocket ship, and the league was finally strapped in for liftoff. But rather than securing their seatbelts, the WNBA managed to stumble, trip, and faceplant into its own incompetence. And no one saw that more clearly than Stephen A. Smith. The moment Clark went down, he erupted. While other commentators shuffled through limp platitudes about wishing her well, Stephen A. let the hammer drop. He called out the refs for swallowing their whistles. He called out Commissioner Kathy Engelbert for refusing to protect the league's golden goose. And most of all, he turned his fury toward Angel Reese, the self-proclaimed face of the league who has spent more time curating her social media image and playing the victim than actually rising to the occasion on the court. Stephen A.'s message was blunt. Grow up, stop whining, stop resenting, recognize what Caitlin Clark represents and ride that wave for as long as it lasts. Because without her, the numbers don't lie. The league collapses back into irrelevance. Just look at the receipts. Indiana Clark's team led the league in attendance, averaging over 17,000 fans at home and 15,000 on the road. Teams literally moved games to bigger arenas when the fever came to town. Why? Because Clark was the draw. The data makes it undeniable. Games with her averaged over 1 million viewers. Games without her barely scratched 394,000. That's not a dip. That's a nosedive off a cliff. And yet, players like Reese couldn't stop complaining about Clark stealing the spotlight. Newsflash. The spotlight isn't stolen. It's earned. Clark earned it with her shooting, her swagger, and her ability to make people care about a league most had ignored. Angel Reese, on the other hand, has mastered the art of self-promotion without the substance to back it up. She has become the living embodiment of what Stephen A. was talking about when he said resentment was eating the league alive. Instead of seeing Clark's success as a rising tide lifting all boats, Reese treated it like a personal slight, as though Clark's shine somehow dimmed her own. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Angel Reese isn't Caitlin Clark. She isn't moving merchandise. She isn't filling arenas. She isn't the reason casual fans are suddenly watching WNBA games instead of reruns on Netflix. Caitlin Clark makes people care. Angel Reese makes people roll their eyes. That's the gulf between them, and Stephen A. just ripped that gulf wide open for the whole world to see. Now let's talk about the league itself. The WNBA had lightning in a bottle, and instead of protecting it, they left the bottle sitting in a thunderstorm. Clark wasn't just fouled. She was hacked, shoved, elbowed, blindsided, night after night. The refs swallowed their whistles like cowards. The commissioner acted like this was normal. And now Clark, the one player who turned women's basketball into must-see TV, is sidelined with injury. That isn't bad luck. That's negligence. Pure and simple, and the fallout is immediate. Ticket prices for upcoming Fever games have dropped in half. Entire sections of arenas are unsold. Sponsors are quietly panicking. Networks that built their summer schedules around Clark are staring at ratings projections that look more like obituaries. This isn't just Indiana losing a star. This is the WNBA losing the very reason anyone outside diehard fans was paying attention. Stephen A. saw this coming. For months, he's been warning the league to protect Clark. He's been the lone voice shouting over the noise of jealous veterans and tone-deaf executives. And now, as the numbers crater, he's standing tall, waving the receipts and saying, "I told you so." But perhaps the most brutal part of his rant wasn't aimed at the refs or the commissioner. It was aimed directly at Angel Reese. Reese has leaned into her role as Clark's rival, relishing every opportunity to paint herself as the villain. But villains only work in stories when they actually elevate the hero. Reese hasn't elevated anything. She's faked injuries, taken ill-advised shots, and turned post-game interviews into opportunities for self-pity. Meanwhile, Clark was breaking attendance records, shattering viewership milestones, and rewriting what it meant to be a WNBA star. Stephen A's humiliation of Reese was not just about her play. It was about her choices. He reminded her and everyone watching that as a public figure, your every move carries weight. You can't control being scrutinized, but you can control whether that scrutiny is about brilliance or about nonsense. Reese has chosen nonsense. Clark has chosen brilliance, and the contrast couldn't be more damning. The WNBA now finds itself in the very nightmare Stephen A predicted. Without Clark, the league is a salad when fans ordered pizza. Sure, it's technically basketball, but who's excited about it? Fans aren't buying tickets to watch a walking turnover masquerading as a star. They were buying tickets to see Clark drop logo threes and drag an entire league into relevance. Without her, the magic evaporates. And let's not forget the financials. Clark's impact wasn't theoretical. She drove a 319% increase in attendance for the Fever compared to the year before. Merchandise sales doubled league-wide. 6 different TV partners recorded record-breaking viewership thanks to her games. That's not hype. That's reality. And now, with her sidelined, the WNBA is about to learn just how fragile their newfound relevance really is. Stephen A's humiliation of Reese was brutal because it was rooted in facts. Facts that Reese and others in the league can't escape. Facts that show Caitlin Clark isn't just another player. She is the WNBA. Without her, the league collapses into the background noise it used to be. And that truth, delivered in Stephen A's trademark fire, left no room for excuses. X.